Hey folks, welcome back to Sam and JT's Bottom 5 right here on the Dice Tower. I'm Sam.
I'm JT.
And this is a series of videos in which we share the bottom half of our top 10 games from whatever category that we're talking about. This specific video is talking about the year 2014.
Better than 2013.
Better than 2013.
By
I get
far.
that. How big was your pool that you drew from?
I don't know. 20 some odd. I mean,
Yeah.
the ones that would have made it to the top 10, probably, 15 is what I narrowed down to, maybe.
Yeah. I wrote down 20 games. 20 games. I did go through I think I went through 11 pages this time just because that's how far it took to get to the NAs. So this is the year so far that has had the most ranked games, most pages of ranked games. And I think it was 26,083 or something like that.
So many.
26,083 was the last ranked game on page 11.
11 pages at 100 a page?
1,100, yeah. So I would say it's in between 1,000, just under
Sure.
1,100 games
Yep.
in the top 26,000 games.
We had 57 in the top 1,000.
57.
Yep.
Whoa.
Our best so far beyond that was 46 in
Yeah.
2012. And
So
then nothing else has even come
Full
close.
11. Wow.
Yeah, 57.
All right, so this was definitely the best year thus far.
Yep. Agreed.
All right. Well, with that being said, and without further ado, or no more gilding of the lily, I have no idea what any of that means.
I know what I think that means, but
Well,
indeed.
I hope it doesn't mean anything bad. I'll edit it out if it doesn't. If it does. If it doesn't, I'll leave it in. So you'll know if it means something bad, if it's still there. If you don't know what I'm talking about right now because I edited it out, it was something bad, and I'm sorry. My number 10 is a game set in one of my favorite universes for an IP.
Okay.
And it is set in the Star Wars universe, and it is called Imperial Assault.
Number
Star
10.
Wars Imperial Assault. Yeah, it's my number 10. The reason...
Game's junk.
If I would have... No. If I would have made this 10 years ago, this would easily have been in my top 5.
Nice.
But it suffers from what a lot of games suffer when they are super popular. Glut. Because there's so much that comes out for it, and there's so much that you probably bought for it. Now, to actually play the game, unless it's a lifestyle game for you,
Yep.
unless it's that, you probably don't want to pull it out anymore because there's so much
I
to
just
pull
want to
out.
know who has time for a lifetime game, a lifestyle game.
Here's the thing. If you have a lifestyle game, that's probably the game that you're only playing.
Yeah, it's
You're
fair.
usually only playing that game.
Yep.
And I can definitely see that becoming. Now, I don't know if it's still going to be a lifestyle game for some people because Fantasy Flight has kind of cannibalized itself as far as they keep coming out with
Darn it.
more and more Star Wars games.
Sure.
So it's like,
Sure.
which one are you going to pick? And so
It's like Madden football. You just get a new one every year.
that's
A new
about
Star
size of
Wars
it.
game every year.
Imperial Assault was a really fun, not episodic, but scenario-driven campaign game.
Nice.
They had a really good campaign game, and you didn't have to necessarily play the campaigns. You could play them episodically, each scenario. And I liked that. And it was one of the first games like this that was Star Wars. That was done well. The minis were good. The artwork was good. Everything worked well together. And I really enjoyed this game. So that's why it's probably at the bottom of my list. Because
Fair.
I still recognize how good of a game it was. I don't own the game anymore, though. And I don't know that I'd be playing it that much, even if I did, because it's one of those games where the more you play it, the better you get at it,
Sure.
the more fun you have at it.
Sure.
And I would have to probably
You got to
be
play it against yourself at that
teaching it
point.
and teaching it and teaching it and teaching it, and that would get a little bit cumbersome. But that's my number 10, Star Wars Imperial Assault.
Nice. Fair, except for it's a Star Wars game.
He's just jealous.
My number 10 was actually on one of our lists not too long ago.
Uh-oh.
It was on our nature list,
Oh.
and it's called Evolution.
Yep.
Evolution by North Star Games.
Yep.
Evolution is a game where you're evolving your individual group of animals. You're trying to keep them fed. You're trying to give them wings and let them climb trees and try to get away from the predators or become the predators and eat everybody else's
Become the predator.
critters. And and you score points on how much you eat. So that's it. Whoever gets the most. So
I like
Evolution's a good game.
Yeah, it's a good one. North Star is a great publisher. I think they're still working, right? They're still around.
Yeah, I think so.
I liked Oceans, which was, I think, another iteration of Evolution. Or was it just an expansion of Evolution?
No, I think it's just the next
like,
version.
Yeah, the next version of it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I got to play that.
I haven't played Oceans, but that's the next version.
Yep. That's a good one. It's a good pick. Well done, sir.
All right.
All right, my number 9. I almost wore my shirt just for this specific thing, but I chose not to wear the shirt that is connected to this game.
The shirt that's connected to this game.
Yeah, I have a shirt.
Heck if I know.
It's called Legendary Encounters, an alien deck building game. And I have a shirt that has...
your alien shirt.
Yeah, my alien shirt. Yeah, I have my alien shirt.
Fair.
It says, what is it? Sigourney Weaver's character is...
It's over, man. No, wait.
It's not that one.
That was Burke.
It's from their take off a nuke from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
That's right.
So it's a political shirt that has Weaver's character, and it says 2024 on it. It says it's the only way to be sure. Anyway, I was going to wear that shirt. I decided not to. Anyway, Legendary Encounters, an alien deck building game, is my second favorite in that system of games. I really enjoyed the Marvel. I really enjoy that one. So, if Marvel and Alien were in the same list, Marvel would be on top of Alien. But because it was created in another year, it takes the spot for this list. I really enjoyed it. I loved the storyline that you could follow with this system and this IP, and I loved how it worked together so well. I think it's great, but it takes so long to set up, and it's that crunchy just to set it up. That's why it's lower on the list. So that's my number 9.
Agreed. That's a good pick.
Legendary Encounter, an alien deck building game.
All right, my next game. Well, I won't give any spoilers, but there might be a crossover on this one. This is a social deduction game with bullets and cards and a lot of finger pointing. And it is called Murder and Deception in Hong Kong. Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Holy macaroni. From Gray Fox. At least my copy's from Gray Fox.
Yep.
But anyways, in this game, you get a bunch of different items. You get a murder weapon and a clue piece. What do they call the other one? It's a murder weapon and then just a...
Yeah. Well, you get 6 cards. And you have...
But you have 2 lines. You have a murder weapon line and then you have a clue line.
Yep.
And
it's like evidence.
And an evidence piece line or something like that. Yep. And the person who is giving the clues has these central cards, and they just have they don't get to talk at all. They just get to put these little bullets on one of the items on that card, like it was, a bloody mess. That's not really what the card says, but and then everybody starts deducing who's got the one that would make the bloody mess or whatever else. So, and it's just really funny. I think I told this story before once, but my wife's uncle was playing this game, and I started giving the clues, and pretty soon he's just getting redder and redder and redder, and by the time I put down the 3rd bullet, and he's just staring at me like telling me to stop as I'm giving the clues in his mind. By the time I put down the 3rd bullet, he says, "Why don't you just tell him it's me?" Because It was making him lose his mind. But anyways, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, Gray Fox Games. It's a hoot.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick. It's one of those games where, usually I tell people to stay away from max player count.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the ones where I'm like, you really need to try to shoot for max player count.
As many as you can, at least like 6.
Yep. Because you really want to get as many different, especially with the expansion, Undercover Allies, you want to get as many of the different roles or personalities into the game as possible. So that's a good pick. And no, it's not going to be a crossover.
Oh, sweet. Great, sir.
All right, my number 8 comes in a box this big.
Called Spot It. Oh, no, that didn't come out.
And it's about that thick. And it is literally just a bunch of cards and a bunch of dice. And it's called Age of War. It's by Fantasy Flight Games, and it comes with some beautifully crafted custom dice and a bunch of cards that just represent different strongholds, different fortresses that you can take over in different regions, and they each have different colored backgrounds. But all you're doing is each of the different strongholds has a list of requirements that you have to roll on the dice on your turn. And
I swear I've played this game, but I don't recall this mechanism.
You roll the dice, and you can choose to keep some, and then you can roll. You got 3 rolls. It's basically Yahtzee style rolling.
Yep.
And but if you don't roll in succession, and if you don't get it, then you don't get that fortress, and your turn is over with.
Gotcha.
Now, once you have the fortresses in front of you, other people can still try to attack your fortresses and take them from you. The only way you can protect them is if you get all of the fortresses that are in one color set. Then you can flip them over, and nobody can get those from you anymore. And
I do remember this.
And you're trying to get a certain number of... no, it's not a certain number of points. Well, it is a certain number of points. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. But when the last fortress has been taken, that triggers the end of the game.
Gotcha.
And whoever has the most points is the winner. It's a really fast dice rolling game, but it's really nice, and it's one of those things that can fit right in your backpack, or it can even fit in your back pocket, really, and you can take it almost anywhere. You can even take it out of the box, keep it in a Ziploc bag, and you've got that game.
Don't do that.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if you're traveling and you don't want a box sticking out of your pocket, you could put it in a Ziploc bag and take it with you, and it'll be good.
Put it in your man purse.
Great game, and
Fair.
It's really fun. Really fun. That's
nice.
Age of War, my number 8.
All right. I know I've played that game.
I'm sure you probably have.
I'm pretty sure. I know I've played it. I just don't remember the mechanics in the middle of it. All right. My number 8 is our first crossover of the day then. And it is Legendary
I knew
Alien.
this was coming.
This
is
Alien
your
deck
favorite
builder
version
game.
of it,
This
right?
is my favorite version of this one. And I think it's just for the fact that, well, thematically, it's extremely thematic. It follows the movies like to the T.
Yep.
I mean, it's about a movie. It's just the movie in a deck building game. But and you have different characters. Even you have Ripley from the first one is different than Ripley from the second one. And if you don't think I like aliens, my son, my little boy, if he was going to be a girl, we were going to name her Ripley.
Really?
Yeah, that was our girl name. So,
That's cool.
anyways, that's how much we like aliens. But anyways, this is a fun game. The setup time's what kills it. But yeah, everything you said plus some. I think the cool thing about this one, other than the theme, is the ability to scout those cards ahead of time, and that extra mechanic is really nice and thematic over the Marvel one. So, anyways, that's my number 8. Legendary Encounters. Alien.
All right, my number 7 is a 2-player card game. You can play it with more than 2 players. You can play up to 4 players, I believe. But it's really best at 2. That's where it sings. And that is called Star Realms. This is a game that kind of came out of nowhere. Wise Wizard Games is the one that published it way back in the day. And I loved the artwork for it, first of all, and I loved the sci-fi theme to it. I thought those just worked very well, and it came out in after Dominion had kind of come and gone for me.
Sure.
And I was at a point where I was just like tired of multiplayer deck builders. I was tired of them. Didn't want to play them anymore. Here's a 2-player deck builder. All right, I'll give it a shot. Loved it because I usually enjoyed deck building games. I really did. But I just played Dominion so much, and it was just like blah after a while. But Star Realms came in with a different theme, a prettier theme because the artwork was so
the artwork's
good.
really good
And
so colorful.
I'm an aesthetic gamer, so sue me. But that's just the way it is.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do that. It's not worth the litigation.
No.
Anyway, I really enjoyed Star Realms, and it's become one of those staples in my collection that I've always kept. I taught it to Jess months ago at this point, and she was playing it with Dante when I wasn't even looking.
Really?
Teaching him how to
Nice.
play. Yeah. So it's just one of those games that's super easy to teach, super easy, but it's really, really fun, and it's got a lot of really nice combos, a lot of really nice decisions that are just baked into it.
Yep.
You can play with some of the expansions. You can play campaigns. You can play solo. So there's a lot of breathing room within such a small little game, and that's what I liked about it. So that's my number 7, Star Realms.
Very nice. That's a good pick.
Thank you.
All right, my number 7 is a game of bluffing, lying, and bribery.
So that means he's good at it.
No, I didn't say that. It is called The Sheriff of Nottingham.
Sheriff of Nottingham.
From Arcane Wonders. Sheriff of Nottingham's a cool little game where you're trying to get contraband into the city. Every round, somebody's the sheriff, and you hide a couple of cards inside a little bag with a little snap, and you hand it over, and you give them 2 coins and say, "Hi, Sheriff, how you doing today? I'd like to go into the city." And then
A little clicking sound.
yeah, and if the sheriff thinks you're lying, he opens the packet, and if you're telling the truth, guess what? He has to pay up. So it's kind of painful being the sheriff. It's not like there's no consequences. Like I might walk in with 5 pieces of contraband sometimes, but if I walk in with 4, what is it, like loaves of bread or whatever, hunks of cheese,
Right.
You're going to pay me. So.
Yep, the sheriff will end up paying if you're telling the truth and he thinks you're lying.
So it's a pretty fun game. You can play it with anybody. You can play it with kids. You can play it with everybody and just have a ball.
I will say the caveat, though, playing with everybody is absolutely true, but they've got to all come into it with the same, let's just goof around mentality.
Sure. Yeah.
Don't take the game too seriously.
No.
It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's meant to just lean into the theme of lying and bribing, and sometimes that just kind of throws people for a loop.
Yeah.
I don't want to lie, or I'm not good at lying, or whatever. Doesn't matter. Just don't lie then.
Don't lie. Put good stuff in there every time. Somebody's still going to call you out.
Exactly. Somebody's still going to call you out.
They're not reading you as well as you think you're being read.
So it's just one of those games that I think you're absolutely right. You can play it with anybody. But you all have to come to it with that mindset of let's just
get a bunch of teenagers and see what they think.
Yep, that's it.
All right, my number 7, Sheriff of Nottingham.
Good pick. My number 6, the last one on this here video, the last installment of our bottom 5, for me at least. He's got one more coming up.
Yep.
This one is from a company called Devil Pig Games, and it is called Heroes of Normandy.
I knew it was going to be on here.
Yeah, you knew it was going to be on there.
I don't know why it's so low.
Well,
you're getting soft.
No, that's not it. Honestly, I've got 5 really good games.
All right.
That are in my top 5.
There were plenty to pick from for this year. So go ahead.
Absolutely true. Heroes of Normandy is a great little game that basically takes squad level combat, and it's a miniatures game without miniatures. Because all of your miniatures are on these little tiles. And those little tiles have all the information that you need to play the game as far as what is your offense and what is their defense and what do you have to roll and all of that kind of stuff. It's all on the tile. And that was a really cool thing about it. On top of that, the tiles are made in such a way that their surroundings and the terrain that's printed on the tile blends into the board.
Yeah.
So
that's nice.
It was just a really, really neat implementation of a lot of miniature game type strategy and tactics on a board game, or in a board game rather. And it was just a very, very good design, and it was a very fun game. Just dice chucking fun. That's basically what it boils down to. But again, strategy, tactics in a militaristic minis game format. Really enjoyed this game a lot. It was loosely based on history. There were historical scenarios, but there was a lot of Hollywoodification done to the game as well. So it was still a great time. Really enjoyed it. There was another Games Workshop version of it called Heroes of Blackreach, I believe.
Yeah,
that was very fun as well. But anyway, that's my number 6. The last one on this installation, Heroes of Normandy.
All right, the last one on my list. Probably everybody at Dice Tower hates. No, I'm just kidding. It's on a Dice Tower list, so we'll get it in there somehow, some way. No, my number 6 is the brother of a very popular game called the King of New York.
Oh.
King of New York. I don't see that. Look at that face right there. King of New York is not that bad of a game. It's quite a fun game, but it has the thing between it and King of Tokyo is it has an actual little New York area with little areas within it, and there's tanks and troops and things in those areas. So it just kind of adds that little bit of extra. Instead of just attacking the monster in the middle, you might be attacking tanks and getting stuff from that, or might be fighting with the with the actual troops in the city. So it just adds that troops in the city portion. And before the Dark Edition came out, King of Tokyo, this was my preferred version. I think the normal King of Tokyo, although it's really good, is just a little too simple.
Sure.
And this just added that little bit extra. Now, when the Dark Edition came out and it added that track for your 1s and 2s and 3s and added those special abilities, that's a nice little addition as well. So, and it's also beautiful. But King of New York is a really good game. Shoot up some tanks, destroy some troops.
It's a good game.
King of the Hill.
It's a good game. I'll give it that. I never disliked it. I just didn't like it as much as it went in a direction that I didn't want King of Tokyo to go.
Sure.
That's all.
Yep.
That's all. And when Dark Edition came out, I like that one much better than New York.
Yeah.
And I like that one slightly better than base game New York.
Base
game Tokyo. But I like them all.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
It's a good series of games.
It's the third in that series, I guess you could say, for me.
Fair. All right. Well, that's our last one on this bottom 5 for the Dice Tower.
Bottom 5 here on the Dice Tower. That is correct. Now, if you have the time, if you make the time,
just do it.
You can go over to the Flipside of Board Games, which is our channel, and you can watch the top 5 right now because it has been made available at the exact same time that this one was made available. So you can do that right now. So, with that being said, we'll see you guys and gals on the Flipside. Take care.
See you later.